Hi. Yes, if you fall in line with everything that we're telling you, and what to do, and how to do it, you will be successful in every and any way. You have to understand, there are certain rules that you must follow in order to achieve success. You are now being tuned in to the most coolest of the Coolly Cool Show. We are heard throughout the cosmos and even out through the observable universe. Sit back and prepare. Yes, you're listening here live on the coolest of the cool, the Coolly Cool Show. Yes, we are the only talk radio show that rocks it from coast to coast, north to south, and yes, maybe even in Antarctica. And if you're listening in Antarctica, let's just say, you better be listening. Yeah. Listen here live with the coolest of the cool, the Coolly Cool Show. If you haven't done so already, be sure to follow us on our other social media platforms. Be sure to follow me on my YouTube channel and TikTok channel, both labeled the Coolly Cool Show. Be sure to follow me on the Twitter account at CoollyCool2412. You can also follow me on my Instagram page at Brent_the_Champ. Yes. You're getting tuned into the coolest of the cool. We're going to be getting things set up in just a second. We're going to be kicking this amazing podcast off. On this Hump Day Wednesday. Now you are tuned in to the coolest of the cool, the Cooley Cool Show. We are heard throughout the cosmos, and yes, even all the way out to the observable universe. You are now listening to the Cooley Cool Show. Now, without further ado, the man that does nothing and exhilarates in absolute coolness. Your host, none other than Brent. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, you're listening here live on this Wednesday night, hump day. Yep. Wednesday, hump day. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Yep. Live here on the Coolest of the Cool, the Cooley Cool Show. Your host, Brent. Yes. So we're just going to dive right into it. The title of this episode is called Shadow Ban or Massive Deception. Now, the topic of this discussion is quite one that is a very controversial one. Many people around the world, the globe, sometimes might feel as though that they're being deceived or some shape, way, or fashion. And you simply try to figure out why. Why? And trust me, it happens far more than you believe. Even though some companies and social media companies would say, oh, no, we don't. But in secret, they do their work in the shadows. So, as I said, shadow banned or massive deception. So, first off, if you're not familiar what shadow ban means, we're going to break down several different meanings that they have out here for the general public. Obviously, Google is supposed to be a googly good site, but they will have whatever they feel deemed as appropriate, but they won't really tell you on how and why and how to not be part of that shadow banning. So we're going to look up some of these definitions of, people or terminologies of what shadow ban means. So the ever popular TikTok app, let's see, they have it where people get shadow banned, where sometimes their videos don't get out to the mass majority of people around the world, which they're not in that algorithm to get their videos out there to get more views and looks. So on here, Google says, what is shadow banned in TikTok? And this is what it says. The word shadow ban is relatively self-explanatory. Basically, it means your account has been banned. But the shadow part of the term means that you won't know about the ban. Shadow ban on TikTok is restricted that prevents your videos from appearing on the For You page or on hashtag results. So in a nutshell, they can ban you and not tell you you're banned, and then you have no idea that you've been banned, and that your videos that you think is funny or very influencing are not getting put out to the ever popular For You page that pretty much every TikToker has on their home page, and or hashtags results as for to get people to look at certain areas of interest that they seem as a subject to follow or look up. That's basically what it's saying, that, you're getting shadow banned and they don't want to deal with you. This is very true, very true. And there's another term. This one is pretty much for Instagram. Instagram. Let's see. An Instagram shadow ban refers to the act of hiding or restricting a user's content without informing the user that it's happening. If you're shadow banned, your content won't appear on anyone's feed, explore, or hashtag pages unless they already follow you. Sounding like these big businesses or social media sites are doing everything they can to restrict let's just say, the free flow of information, which is not free anymore. So, here's another one. Let's see, it says, how do I know if I am shadow banned? Let me bring it this way, as a nerd way. Being shadow banned means you've been blocked or muted from specific social media channels without being notified. You're suddenly invisible to your followers or any users for that matter. You appear less in searches, or your posts, comments, or activities are restricted or hidden. Okay. So basically, in the terminology of the nerd way, you're not popular. No one likes you, and we're just gonna ensure that no one looks you up or finds you because we don't like you. Okay. So as they would want to say, the nerd, we don't want you right here. So just get out of here, okay? Because you're not one. Alright? Just don't even try. Just get out of here, okay? So they say that's what it pretty much means. Breaking it down to you, it's just that the certain social media sites, they were not going to push you out into the mass of millions and billions and trillions of followers around the world, if you have followers or people out there. Reason why is because they don't like you. Matter of fact, they don't like what you stand for. They don't like what you're promoting, and they damn sure don't think you're good for business. So, and plus they got an image to uphold. So it's basically like I said on my previous podcast, is like, oh, it's a big, Charles Carlton said, oh, it's a huge club. And guess what? You ain't in it. And that's fucking true. So we're going to talk a little bit extensively into this. So, a couple years ago, and it was a couple, maybe 6, 7, maybe 8 years ago, when the whole flat earth bid, people started jumping on the flat earth bandwagon because they started saying, hey, we think the earth was flat. And as they started thinking the earth was flat, people started jumping on the bandwagon, and everybody started to say, oh, this and that. And it started getting a large following on social media, especially YouTube. People started following. People started, oh, you know what, going against. Then you actually have, presidents that can say anything that says, we don't have time to have a debate with the Flat Earth Society. Buzz has been there. Buzz has been the moon. Blah, 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 blah. And what ends up happening from that is that certain videos, certain individuals who are part of that, the organization, those groups that think that way, their videos and stuff began to be getting restrictive. So, as it was beginning to get restrictive, who's doing the restricting? I'll tell you who's doing the restricting. The company that owns that started doing the restricting because it doesn't look really good And when the government probably comes to them and says, look, you need to do something or else we're going to put you out of business. And those big businesses, the companies that own that, don't want to go out of business because they're making billions and trillions and zillion dollars. So they want to keep the flow of money. I don't know how many times I would tell you, if you listen to my podcast, what's the one thing that everything goes on? Is everything's fueled by money. So as these big businesses want to keep fueling more money and making more money, and when the government says you need to do something about them or we're going to do something about you. And what these companies do on these social media sites, they're like, you know what? I'm not trying to lose ends. I'm not trying to lose no meat on what I got going on. So you know what? That individual, what we're going to do? We're going to suppress their content. We're going to suppress their ability to promote their videos and their content and things of that nature out to the mass of tons of people that might be able to find and locate their stuff. Yes, oh yes, they do. It's a bitch. So this is a way for them to slow your pace from speaking out against certain things. Only way to do so is by these companies pretty much having a process where they're like, we don't want our business to halt because of this one person that might sway the masses of tons of people into a different type of thinking or thought process. So it's basically keeping them in check, saying, no, we don't need this shit to happen. But in order to look at it as though we're not really just dismissing altogether, we'll just suppress their content. They'll still have the ability to upload. They'll still have the ability to do whatever and this and that, talk to maybe their people. But as far as searching or looking up main focus and pages where things will pop up more, as far as people's interest, no, it's not. It's going to be suppressed. It's the American way. But guess what? This isn't just the American way. This is the world way. So if you have ever been on YouTube, if you ever been on TikTok, you ever been on Instagram, you ever been on Twitter, they do this continuously and constantly. So don't think that I'm sitting here talking to you thinking I'm just talking out my ass. This stuff is true. This stuff happens. My own videos have been suppressed, have been freaking shadow banned, because guess what? Certain things I say, these companies don't want the mass of people to hear. They don't want you hearing it. All two of my great listeners out there, they don't want you hearing or me promoting this stuff to other individuals because it's not in the best interest of that company. Like, I had a video on TikTok. And the video was like, I think it's 2 years ago. It was like school year coming around, and it was a clip of Full Metal Jacket where Gunny had came in there. He had a trash can, and he just started twirling. It says "Reveille, Reveille, Reveille," and that's all it's captured. That's all the video was. This is that "Reveille, Reveille, Reveille," and he, turn the lights on. And I had a little caption saying, "This is how I feel when it is time for school year." For the kids to go back to school. Just every parent feels that way. They're like, oh yes, finally the kids go back to school when the school year kicks. And my video was suppressed because after a while I noticed, I looked on there, I had only one view, and that was from myself. And we're talking about, this is just a simple video. So apparently somebody up in the TikTok tickety-tack world didn't like my video and wanted to suppress it to where it didn't get shown at all to the mass of people on TikTok looking and watching videos. It got suppressed. That video that I did, it wasn't even a big video. It wasn't even a controversial video. It wasn't anything bad. It was actually just a comedy thing. That's all. But it was suppressed. And at that point in time, I knew right then and there, I was like, I didn't even do anything, but I know what happened. It didn't fit the narrative. It wasn't something that they wanted people to look at or whatever. But I didn't violate any rules. I didn't violate any content. And trust me, some of these social media sites, you have tons of people violating that left and right. But guess what happens? Their shit gets pushed out to the mass of millions and billions and trillions all over. And one could look at that and say, how in the fuck does their shit get pushed out, but yet my shit, which is simple, non-controversial, non-fucking threatening, non-fucking violent, and yet this shit over here to my left is looking fucked up, and they're pushed out to the mass of millions. And it's complete horse shit and dog shit. You know why? Goes back to saying, it's a huge club, and guess what? You ain't in it. And that is extremely how this fucking world works. And guess what? It's because of what? The almighty dollar bill, y'all. I don't know how many times I have to tell you. I don't know how many times you have to listen to my podcast and know that everything I say is all fueled by this one thing. And every single time it is, no matter what, how you look at it, it's constantly and forever will be fueled by this. All right?
Here comes the money. Here we go. Money talk. Here comes the money. Money, 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 money. Dollar, dollar, dollar. Ching, ching, bling, bling.
All right. Simply by that, it is constantly. And the thing is, when your videos or other people's videos are suppressed, you're not in that algorithm. And I touched a little bit based on that on my previous podcast about being included in algorithm. So, algorithm is kind of a method to be placed in something. Well, I'm going to back up. Let's say algorithm. I like to use examples because I like doing a little bit of examples. So, for instance, like a Rubik's Cube. In order to solve a Rubik's Cube, you have to have an algorithm to solve it. Anyone that says, oh, no, you just go ahead and try to do it. No, there's a series of patterns and movements that you need to do in order to solve the Rubik's Cube. If not, you're not going to solve it. It's just plain and simple. It was based on how that is. You have to have a series of movements in order to put them in the right spots. So, if you don't know the algorithm, you can't solve it. The same thing applies to these other social media outlets. If you're not in the algorithm, your content, your things, your stuff is not going to be pushed out to the masses of tons of millions and billions of people. It's just not. Reason why is because, one, it is all based on a review of certain shit that has to go past. Because they'll put it this way. Like, for instance, I've usually say pretty much my videos here are, especially on YouTube, my podcast here is live. So for my podcast here live, it will be automatically uploaded to YouTube. All right. So before it's uploaded to YouTube, it goes through a series of events where they're processing my content. And the reason they're processing it, they're trying to see if there's any type of, oh, did I do this? Did I do this wrong? Oh, am I copyright? Trust me, I've been copyrighted on certain music. And, you know, apparently it happens to a number of YouTube people that are on YouTube. They get copyrighted all the time, saying, oh, you use this clip or use music somewhere here and this and that. And usually, me personally, I like to try to use my own music as much as I can in order to not have that copyright thing and just have my stuff not be in violation. But doesn't matter who you are. If you're on YouTube and you're putting content out there, trying to make videos or things like that, you're going to be hit with a copyright infringement or something. It's not going to be big unless you're just totally just stealing everything from somebody. But, you know, it's not going to be big. You probably might have used something that might be, you know, somebody else's music or some type of video clip or whatever. And they're like, you know what? We don't want you doing that because somebody else doesn't want you to get paid off that and them not receiving any proceeds from it. So that's where that kind of, and trust me, tons of people do this all the time and they don't intentionally do this. They try to enhance their videos and they try to need a little thing. Now it's not intentionally trying to just, oh, I'm going to have all exactly the same thing. No, they're not trying to do that. But it goes through a filter system process like that, where they look for anything and everything. And if they find anything, trust me, they will suppress your stuff or say you're in violation. It's not minor, but don't worry. But hey, and a lot of times it goes back to this, as I said, because of monetization, so people can get paid on it. And they're like, well, why should you get paid if you're using all of this? If this person's whole content getting paid off their stuff that they have, and rightfully so. You don't want somebody, taking your money, your music that you have in this net, and then getting paid off the proceeds on it, especially if you took the whole damn thing. But it's like a trailer. If you're trying to, hey, I'm trying to describe it because I want to enhance it, and I don't want it to be bland. For many people of us, some people don't really that talented at music to enhance certain things, so they need to kind of get something to enhance it. And then they have usually says it like, well, you have to contact the actual, artist and get their approval in order to use their stuff. To be honest, how many of you are going to actually get a chance to contact these individuals that make these certain videos or make these certain music things? Like, let's one of the music, like if somebody wants to use like Beyonce's music or something, and you really gonna get a hold of Beyonce to say, hey, can I borrow this music from yours? Can I put it in my? No, you're not. It's just plain and simple. It's just not gonna happen. Now, what a lot of people do is try to give credit to those individuals by noting it in to their description of their video to try to say, hey, I'm giving credit to them. This is not mine, but this is what I have in my video, and it's directly them. That's if they're using prolonged amount of time with that clip and or song, giving credit to where credit is due. But at the same time, as I said, they're filtering things out. Why is it that they need to fine tooth and comb in order to and look at it? And while they're looking at it, then they go say, we don't really like that, and guess what, we're going to suppress that. So I mean, and this goes along with other things too. Like, for instance, if you're talking about certain topics of discussion and it's not really fitting the narrative for what they think people should listen to, we'll get suppressed. You start talking about certain things that just people like, but yet the companies are like, whoa, that's going to look pretty bad. Uncle Sam's going to come down and us talk about, why didn't you talk about them? Why didn't you do something about this? Trust me, your shit will get suppressed. It's going to get suppressed because the fact that they don't need certain content being put out there to cause an influence to other people. And this is where Uncle Sam says, if you don't knock it off, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start taking some of your money out of your pocket. And these companies aren't going to lose money. I told you before, it's fueled on the money. But it's more about getting into the algorithm to be getting able to get out there. And trust me, there are certain things where it says, oh, you could pay so much to promote, to get yourself out there. Why? Why would I need to promote something, pay extra money to get out there? Because they're figured this way. If you're really that bad enough that you really want your stuff out there, you'll spend the extra dollar bills, y'all, in order to try to push it out there. And guess what these companies will do? They'll like, you know what? He's paying, so shit, why not go ahead and push his shit out anyway? But we'll push it out to a certain group. And then overall end, we'll have their money. Telling you. This is how it's done. This is how it's always done. I'm pretty sure once this video gets uploaded to YouTube, my information, my content will be suppressed. Trust and believe on that one. That people aren't going to be looking for this and say, oh, there will be no, hundreds of millions of viewers watching this video on YouTube. It's not. It's going to be suppressed. And guess what? At this point in time, I've already come to terms with half the time the stuff that I'm talking about is suppressed or is going to be shadow banned, or more likely I'm not going to be put in the algorithm to where it will get out there. But, on the same sense, they promote who they want because these people are such fucking assholes that they'll just do this to certain anyone. Like, for instance, I talk a lot about how this one group on YouTube, they apparently said they went to space, but they didn't go to space. All they did was go like to the last layer of the outer space, and were there for 0 G gravity for like 12 minutes. And as they're out there floating, right, this group has like 58 point some million subscribers. So trust and believe, this space company wanted to get on their bandwagon, cut them almost a blank ass check. And then on top of that, it got good promotion for them to send out to other people. Oh, you too can get a ride out into space. Mm-hmm. Don't think that wasn't a message. Don't think they weren't trying to influence and get other people. Oh, by the way, if you have $250,000 just to spend on a so-called trip out to the last layer of outer space or last layer of the atmosphere, and only for 12 minutes, then come back down. Oh, and by the way, don't think you're in outer space because you're not wearing space suits, just wearing good old jumpsuits. Yep, jumpsuits and space suits are two different things, but this company would love to think you don't know any better by how they think they know what's best for you. Oh, trust Nelly, telling you, these people are sick, like literally sick. And I'm telling you, if you go to my YouTube channel, which is the Cooley Cool Show, and you will see how so many people, well, I put it this way, all two of my great listeners out there appreciate you, but you will see how many people on my YouTube channel don't get a chance to view my content. Why? Because the information is being suppressed. Alright? It is. It's been suppressed. Because guess what? Somebody up in the bigwig says, we don't like that. The flow of information, if you really think the flow of information is freedom of information to talk and everything you want, no. The flow of information is thus is. There is certain entities, certain organizations, certain groups that control the flow of information and push out what they want to be pushed out. Look, if you don't think I'm bullshitting you, for instance, how's the news media, news outlets, when it's a hot topic, they talk about what they want to talk about all day long. They push that shit out left and right? But then as far as other shit, it's not being really pushed out because they don't really want to talk about it. So they're restricting the amount of flow, restricting the flow of that information out to the vast majority of people. Come on. Like, seriously. You have to be able to recognize the signs of what is happening, what is going on in our society today. Like, for instance, we use for the younger generation, I'm pretty sure they don't have a clue what newspapers are, but newspapers back in the day was a hot thing. People would read the newspaper because that would be the latest and most up-to-date information besides the television. And plus, you could read the newspaper and pick up on other stuff. So you get the newspaper and the information would be read, and you'd be like, okay, well, listen that. Now the information was kind of not that fast paced, but now these days we have the flow of information through technology based, through our cell phones, through the World Wide Web, the internet. Information is quickly spread, but trust me, as it's quickly spread, there is people and organizations and governments that restrict it. They don't need tons of information, unwanted information, being spread out to the mass majority of people. It's not in their best interest. It does not promote good things in their eyes. Reason why? Because it doesn't fit their way of getting things out. Now, if you were promoting something, if you were talking about something they were interested in or something that's great, trust me, you're going to be looking good. But then again, are you in that club? Are you in that club? I'm telling you, it's a big club. Trust me, it's a huge club. And guess what? You ain't in it. I go back to this thing again where what was it, the end of the world movies, and they do some lottery drawing, and certain people get saved and other people die as a result of the earth getting destroyed or something. And they call people. Trust me, if you're listening to this show on the coolest of the cool, and you're obviously not going to be one of them that's going to be saved. You're not getting a phone call. You're not getting something that says, "Oh yeah, you've been pre-selected to go get saved in the bunker or the spaceship or whatever." Nope. You're gonna be stuck here and you're gonna be miserable, and that's your ass. Sorry. Alright, it's pretty fucked up when you think about it. Like, when you're a kid, you don't think about this, but when you get older, you start to realize, man, who has rigged this fucking game? Oh, the game's rigged, and the game is rigged well, and it's a bitch. Oh, it's a bitch too. Like 100% fucking rigged, and 100% it's a bitch. Like, fucking assholes. So, and I'm not trying to sound negative. I'm trying to just get you to understand how a lot of things are. You know, it's not me being negative. It's me opening your mind, letting you know things, getting you in tune to everything that is happening. I'm trying to, let me see, I'm trying to find something. So that way, okay, here's a go. Here's a.
What do you want, Mr. Quay? Same as you, to remember. But why? To be myself again. You are what you do. A man is defined by his action, not his memory. Please, take my hand. Now, open your mind to me. Please. Open your mind. Open your mind. Open your mind. Open your mind.
Yep. If you don't know it, that's a clip from Total Recall. Total Recall, open your mind. And that has a lot of thought process. Obviously, that movie, he was talking about opening his mind because he couldn't remember exactly who he was, because apparently he was somebody else, then he was somebody else, and the mutant, who was like kind of a fortune teller, you could see, was trying to get him to expand and open his mind so that way he can make him remember who he is. Now, this is the same sense. Open your mind, ladies and gentlemen. Open your mind. Recognize the bullshit. See the bullshit. Know that, like I said, the game's rigged. Alright? If you don't think the game's rigged, it's probably because you don't see it, because the game is not rigged for you. You were seeing it that gumdrops and lollipops and bum bums play, and you're just having a good old time. But for many people, though, the game is rigged, and it's going to continue to be rigged. All right? Like, I don't know what else to kind of let you know, but you have to kind of understand it. And like, it's a bad one too. Like, people get upset about this and people get angry because think about this. If I'm gonna give a good example so that way we can kind of redefine this. Let's put it this way. If you knew something, okay, put it this way. If you, whatever your profession is, whatever it is that you do, if you knew going into it that it was going to be a certain way and it wasn't beneficial to you and it was never going to be beneficial to you, would you go down that path of doing it? Fuck no, you wouldn't. Many of us would be like, hell fucking hell, I would do something else. That's exactly what I'm trying to tell you. Shit's rigged. But we don't see it. We only notice it as we're going through it. And we're like, damn, this motherfucker rigged like a motherfucker. It is. It truly is. Now, in all aspects, you do have a choice. And the choice, you can't blame other people's for your choice that you make. You have to be able to understand you have a choice. You have free will to make your own decisions. But as you make your own decisions, some decisions might be easier than said than others. And it's okay that you don't choose a certain decision, certain choice. That's your choice at all. For instance, I'll give it an effect before we go. I like to talk a little bit about Adam and Eve. So God sent Adam and Eve, and they had them in the Garden of Eden. Ooh, everything is looking good and great, right? But then God had this tree in the paradise, the kingdom, the Garden of Eden, right? And he had a snake the snake was luring Eve to eat this apple. Now, Eve said, oh, the snake told me I ate it, and then I wanted to give Adam, and Adam ate it too. Now, in all hindsight, people say, oh, see, they deceived God, and they didn't listen. But then again, God is everything. God is all-knowing. God is what created everything. You don't think God put that tree there for a reason? You don't think God put that snake there? You don't think God put that apple in there? God put there so that way they can make a choice to choose a free will. God made a choice. He put it there, and he says, I will show you everything. It's your choices that you make is what you're going to have to make. Make the best choice. But at the same time, it's up to you. I cannot just hold your hand in the whole thing. You have to be able to guide your own way. You're going to make certain mistakes, and you're going to make good mistakes. At the same time, it's of your own free will. But many people don't see it that way. Many people say, oh, you going to hell, So it is what it is. But in relation to shadow banning, I'm just saying sometimes for many of us, there's nothing we can do because of the connections of others and the masses of what they want to promote and who they want to promote. Trust me, I could have better content than some rich people, and guess what? The rich people will get their stuff out because they have money, they have fame, they're connected, they're willing to kiss ass, they're willing to just go along with the bullshit to make extra hundreds of millions of dollars, while I'm telling exactly truth and nothing but knowledge for to help out humankind and our own people here on this planet Earth. But guess what? Since I'm not promoting what they want me to promote, they don't give a damn. So, and we done come to another end of an amazing episode here on this Wednesday hump day. Here live on the Coolest of the Cool, the Coolly Cool Show. So, like I said, shadow ban is what it is. So if you haven't done so already, be sure to follow me and subscribe to my other social media platforms. You can follow me on my YouTube channel and TikTok channel, both labeled the Coolly Cool Show. You can also follow me on my Instagram page at Brent_the_champ. You can also follow me on my Twitter account at CoollyCool2412. And if you listen to any of my episodes and you missed it and you want to hear something from the beginning, you can also follow me at iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Spreaker.com. And we reckon from coast to coast, north to south, and yes, maybe even in Antarctica. And if you're listening in Antarctica, have I been fucking shadow banned down there? Oh, motherfuckers. So, you heard it here, live on the Coolest of the Cool, the Coolly Cool Show, with your host, Brent. Take care, and bye.